But we have a few interesting topics to discuss. First of all, the ringgit has slipped as US inflation rose more than expected. The latest CPI figure came in at 3.7%, slightly higher than expectations of 3.6%. Yeah, it led many investors, economists to believe that the Federal Reserve may not be done with their interest rate hikes. Next up, foreign investors continue to take profits on the local Bursa market. Yeah, if you've been taking a look at the Bursa market recently, there's been a bit of weakness. Yeah, okay, we'll dive into MIDF's report, which breaks down the notable stocks that have seen outflows from foreign investors lah. These include public banks, CIMB, and RHB. Finally, a more interesting topic over here, Apple's quote-unquote next generation iPhone 15. Yeah, built entirely out of titanium and dubbed as the ultimate iPhone by Apple. The new model retails at 5,499 ringgit. But the question is whether the price justifies the new features or not. Okay. So this and more in our weekly analysis, as usual, not financial or legal advice. And a quick shout out to all our current learners and gatherers, our patrons. Thank you all so much for your support. Allow me to start with Andrew, Wendy, Edward, Alex, CC, Iz, Morpheus, Urshad, Caveman, Balls, Calvin, Kai, Tommy, Jinkang, Adrian, Eric, JS, Wenyan, Dean, Duhan, Ken, Faris, Alan, and Jackson, as well as all of our learner members. Now, dive into the main topics of the night. Ringgit has ended lower on the Friday's close. You can see over here, 4.6820 is not really a pretty sight. If we do decline further in the next week or the upcoming weeks, right, we're going to surpass the 2 to 3 month low over here and go on to be since the November 2022 low. Okay. And August hasn't been a very fantastic month for the ringgit also. The local note has declined by 2 to 3%. September, yeah, though we still have another 2 more weeks to go, it's not really looking good as well. The ringgit has declined by 1 to 2%. Reasons for this? Well, it is dragged lower by China's real estate crisis. I think some, if not most of you, know what's going on with China right now. They have a really big property bubble. Okay, and there was a study conducted by the IMF, right, that every 1% movement in China's GDP will lead to half a percentage point of similar movement in Malaysia's economy. Okay, so if China's economy is weakening, then you do kind of expect Malaysia's economy to follow as well. Why? Because China is Malaysia's biggest trading partner for the past decade itself. Okay, and recently we are seeing the Chinese yuan weakening also, which is another reason for the ringgit weakening. Okay, so the next reason is dollar strength. Okay, now talking about dollar strength, right? It has gotten a boost from the recent US CPI data. Yeah, the most recent figure came in at 3.7%, spiked to 3.7% in August, and it rose for the first time since June 2022. So this means that, US inflation has been steadily decreasing for the better part of the year, okay, ever since June 2022, but suddenly it spiked back up again. And it's higher than expectations of 3.6%. This is due to the increase in energy prices such as oil and gas. Because if you take a look at core inflation takes out volatile items like food and fuel. It actually decreased to 4.3%, down from 4.7% in July, really signifying that majority of the overall inflation, the spike in overall inflation that we are seeing is from the increase in energy prices. Okay, so though the overall US inflation is lower than the peak of 9.1%, the spike means that price pressures are still running hot. It will probably make officials consider pushing interest rates up later this year, though a pause is expected for September 20. So we take a look at the target probabilities for the next meeting. So the upcoming meeting is on September 20, right? A pause is largely expected. 99% of investors believe that the Federal Reserve will hold interest rates at 525 to 550 basis points. But if you stretch further ahead and take a look at the probabilities for the first November meeting, now it becomes a bit scattered. Right now, they are quite a portion of investors, 27.1% of investors, they believe that, hey, the Federal Reserve, they're going to hike interest rates by another 25 basis points. And this is why you kind of see the dollar suddenly making a comeback or perhaps spiking back up again. Okay, so ever since the CPI data release on Wednesday and Thursday, the dollar has rallied by 0.6%, which translates into a similar weakness to the Malaysian ringgit. But some good news over here, maybe a bit too optimistic. This one is from MIDF. They believe that the ringgit will strengthen to 4.24 by year end. Okay, so let me just read through their report over here. We foresee the ringgit to end the year around 4.24 and averaging at 4.43 for the full year of 2023. We foresee emerging market currencies, including the ringgit, to appreciate, supported by the reversal of fund flows into riskier markets. So MIDF is kind of expecting for the rest of the year, foreign investors, global investors to gradually reallocate their capital into riskier markets, and this includes Malaysia, of course. In particular, as we foresee the Federal Reserve to keep their Fed funds rates steady or unchanged at 5.25 to 5.5%, and Bank Negara Malaysia to maintain the OPR at 3% for the rest of the year, we do not expect pressures from interest rate differential to attract more funds into the US market. So this is a key point over here. If you don't understand what I just said, right, let me just break it down for you. Okay, MIDF is banking on the fact that the Federal Reserve will keep their interest rate at this point over here. Now, this is obviously before the latest US CPI data came out, which spiked to 3.7%. Okay, and also another one for Bank Negara Malaysia to maintain the OPR at 3.0%. Okay, in other words, we expect there will be rebalancing of fund flows to other parts of the world, including Malaysia. We also maintain a bullish view on the local currency as we anticipate expectations for the Federal Reserve to stay hawkish will subside in the later part of the year and further supported by the positive fundamentals in Malaysia's domestic economic conditions and continued current account surplus. So basically just repeating what they said previously. Yeah, they are expecting the Federal Reserve to keep interest rates unchanged and Bank Negara Malaysia to hold the OPR steady at 3% also. The possible boost to external trade outlook and renewed pickup in China's economic recovery would also be positive for the ringgit. So there are two major things over here. One, Federal Reserve, they have to pause. Right. Next, MIDF is expecting China's economy to slowly recover for the second part of 2023 because China is deep trouble right now. They have a property or real estate bubble, right? But if they do come up with a sustainable recovery plan and their economy goes on a sustainable path, okay, then that would be good news for the ringgit as well. Okay, but as to whether it will appreciate to 4.24 by year end or not, I think it's a bit too optimistic. For me, I will be a bit more conservative. I do think that the ringgit will strengthen a bit, maybe to 4.3 or 4.44. But we will see as the year draws to a close. All right. So next up, foreign investors remain as net sellers in the local Bursa market. Yeah, just take a look at this chart over here that switched into profit-taking mode. Okay, remain as net sellers on Bursa Malaysia for the third consecutive week at 27.7 million for the week ending 8th September. Now, this is a much slower outflow compared to the prior week of 113.5 million. But year to date, yeah, despite them acquiring equities for 6 weeks in a row, okay, this is the period of July to August, which if you look at the Malaysian market, right, July to August was one of the best performing months for the Malaysian market for the entire year. Yeah, because foreign investors, they have returned into equities quite aggressively. But despite this buy pressure from them, they have net sold 2.7 billion ringgit, while local institutions, yeah, they are the ones keeping the market afloat. They net bought 3.29 billion. Okay, so the top three sectors that saw net foreign outflows were utilities, net foreign inflows, not outflows. So even though the overall volume was selling from them, foreign investors, they showed particular interest in these sectors. Okay, utilities, property, and energy. The top three sectors that saw net foreign outflows were financial products and services, and these include banks, industrial products and services, and finally, consumer products and services. So dive into the details over here. What specific stocks that foreigners have been selling? Well, right over here. I'll only go through the top 4 stocks. There's Public Bank, CIMB Group Holdings, IHH Healthcare, and RHB Bank. Meanwhile, local institutions like what I told you guys just now, yeah, they are the ones basically keeping the market afloat. Yeah? They're changing hands with foreign investors. They bought Public Bank, CIMB Group, IHH Healthcare, and RHB Bank is also there, right? Okay, so this is the current state of the fund flows in the Malaysian market. So next up is a more interesting one. New iPhone will be available on 29th September. 15 Pro starting at 5,499 ringgit. And it is built entirely of titanium rather than stainless steel. So key features of the quote-unquote ultimate iPhone. Yeah. So these are the new features apart from all the same features compared to its predecessor. Okay. So titanium with textured matte glass back. Actually, the matte glass back is still the same compared to previous models. It's just that now they layer it with titanium, right? USB-C. Now this one is one of the biggest changes, although it's a bit slow. Okay. So now they've changed into basically Samsung chargers. Okay. So instead of buying a new USB-C charger, you can now opt to charge your phone from your Samsung friend's charger. Okay, that's if you want to save more money. Okay, supports USB 3 for up to 20 times faster transfers. Next up, A17 Pro chip. Now this is a slight upgrade compared to the iPhone 14 Pro. So iPhone 14 Pro, it uses the A16 Pro chip. But the important thing that you need to know is that Apple claims that this new chip over here is 10 to 20% faster. Pro camera system, 48 megapixels. Now this one is for all the iPhone 15 models. Okay, so previously, iPhone 14 Pro and above, they had 48 megapixels, if I'm not wrong. But the iPhone 14 base models, their cameras were 12 megapixels only. Okay, so these are the key upgrades of the new iPhone. But the similarities are countless. Okay, you can see over here, and this is not even a full list. Okay, I just decided to take out the key points, okay? The screen is pretty much the same, 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR display, dynamic island, ceramic shield, yeah, tougher than any smartphone glass, same as the previous model, up to 23 hours of video playback, same, super fast 5G, same, emergency SOS, Face ID. In fact, the size that they provide, right, 128, 256, etc., etc., is also all still the same. Okay, but what's significantly different is the price now. Okay, so previously last year when iPhone 14 Pro came out, it retailed at 5,299 ringgit. Yeah, and this new model, which will be coming out on 29th of September, will be starting at 5,499 ringgit. And the most important thing over here, the iPhone 15 Pro Max, right, no longer offers 128 GB. Okay, now it only comes at 256 GB with a starting price of 6,500 ringgit. Yeah, it's just bonkers. Okay, 6,500 ringgit is a lot of money. And Malaysia's median salary, as of 2022, stood at 2,600 ringgit. So assuming that your salary is 2.6K right now, and say you save 30% of your salary every month, yeah, it will take you 7 months in order to afford this iPhone 15. Yeah, by then you might as well wait for the next iPhone 16 already. Yeah, people are paying more and more for lesser features. Video playback, only a 1 hour upgrade, okay, compared to 2 generations ago. And at the end of the day, it's really better to buy older models because once iPhone has announced their new iPhone 15, right, all the older models, they immediately get a price cut. Okay, so yeah, ultimately, how you want to spend your money is your own decision. But if given a choice, I probably won't upgrade lah. Okay, and if my presentation didn't change your mind, then probably this memes will lah. Okay, the base model iPhone 14 and iPhone 15, right, is only 1 gram difference. But then, right, you can see over here, 1 gram difference only. But then Apple says is that this is the lightest iPhone yet. Right? It's not wrong, but it's pretty much the same lah. Okay. And next up, the good thing is that you can probably save money on your new charger, like what I said just now. Borrow your friend's USB-C charger, right? Samsung friend's USB-C charger. But yeah, that brings me to the end of my presentation tonight. Thank you guys for joining, and I will see you guys in the next one. All right, guys. See you.